Hey guys, tis Jet, starting with the re-record of episode 25. I did it last night after working out after 24, and I ended up ranting about politics. So I decided, no, I'm just gonna, I'll save that for other threads in which I actually want to talk about politics and people want to listen to politics. So you can see I've made some progress, though. Geez, it looks like easily 2/3 of my plot are still exposed, or unexposed, that is. I did see this. Something, I don't remember that from before, so I think somebody's at work. And I made this. It's a temporary structure. Notice it's just like jungle trees, and they're suspended, and then this one's holding them down. And they, in turn, are holding up this platform. Not that the physics require it, but there it is. So, you know, Alright, so, hey, let's continue working. I will now continue working. Ooh. Apple. See, these bushes don't quite match. The tree, or the trunk, is often not the same kind as the leaves. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. Don't worry though. These trees coming down, this is temporary. The new plot, once it's developed, will have trees. So don't freak out about my deforestation of a fictitious landscape. Please. Spent some time playing Skyrim this morning, which I haven't been able to do in like a month. Just because I've been so busy, and I'm finally not quite so busy anymore. Though I really should get busy again. Excuse me. That was uncalled for. Coughing. Alright, I wonder why I'm even coughing. Do not to get sick. That would be bad. Yeah, I just sort of did aimless things. I finished Namira's quest, which is kind of grotesque. Turned in some bounties. Made some advancement in the Thieves Guild. Carlia wants me to go meet her somewhere now. Nothing really to talk about too much. Oh, you know, I don't remember. Did I talk about playing Civilization in episode 23? I bet I did. You guys don't care anyway, so it's fine. I won't talk about it. What else, though? One more tree down. Must make sure to resurrect all the saplings. I really want this game to have giant versions of all the trees. Some of them make sense. Like, I don't know about birch. What that would be. The birches I have grew up with as a kid were much larger than the ones in this game, so I suppose you could do that. These big branching things. They would look just fine at game. I don't know how they would be translated into solid blocks, but I don't know about I don't know. What would the big oaks be? Talking something like baobab tree or giant elm or something, maybe. Now, pine is obvious. That would be a redwood. There should be those. So, what's your name? Dinnerbone? Sorry, I haven't really looked into it. I just hear you referenced a lot by, like, vintage beef. Could we have these things? Please? Please? Maybe even add in these little bushes, like, so that we can plant them. That would be awesome. I would be, like, okay with that and stuff. Come on. Oh, there's one. Blink. So yeah, deforestation is evil. Oops. I've run out of pickaxe. Oh, I also moved my mining operations in here. Let's see. Pre-refined, post-refined, and manufactured, if that makes any sense. Oh, good. I made the ingots of iron. Okay, nothing else applies. Ding ding ding. Ooh. Plants. Well, living doodads. 3 parts, of which I am getting quite a few. Oops, oops, oops. I need... Actually, yeah, I am officially out. Okay. Stop. Ooh, wrong. Anyways. And you know what? That's an absurd amount. Let's go with that. Alright, that'll do. Absurd. Do you think I should... No. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter. So, this cleans out pretty good. I am those evil loggers. Everybody were... I don't see that. There's some good loggers out there. It's the problem is when you take more than can be restored, as is happening in the Amazon right now. Even though the people who are doing it are like, but we need work, and that's sort of true. The damage that's being done will mean they also will not have work in the future, or air to breathe, or food to eat. So work, while understandable, is not the best of excuses for doing stuff. I just, I don't want to tell you. Except that, and here we get into politics again, which I just said I was tossed out the last episode for it, but we are so productive as a species now. Our technology enables us to do incredibly powerful things with relatively little effort. We don't need to work as much as we do, not even remotely. The only reason we're working so much, I mean, you think Americans, actually, Americans do work kind of hard. We have some of the aside from sweatshop conditions, we have some of the longest working hours in the world, and some relatively crappy benefits for it compared to some other nations. There are, of course, a wide range, but like I know the Japanese, who everybody thinks are extremely prolific at work, are actually just really good at it. And they think we're nuts that we work as much as we do. And they're right, because we need to work less, and not just us, but everybody. Because work is expensive. Work damages things. It's all these resources wasted on getting people to work and then doing the work and then getting people home from work and moving the products of their work around to fill the pockets of, or to deliver useless doodads to people in the name of, well, if I don't make this, then I won't have any work and I can't eat and stuff like that. Well, of course you could eat if we were doing things correctly. You could work 10, 15 hours a week and have all your needs met. The difference, all the extra value of the work we're doing doesn't even go to us anymore. And that's the main culprit of the problem, is it goes to the fat cats at the top. They're siphoning off all the benefit of all the extra work we're doing, magnified by all the extra technology that makes our work that much more effective. We don't see this. We don't see a penny of it. I mean, our paychecks appear to be going up, but they're actually going down when you actually account for the inflation. But the fat cats, their pay is exponentiating, and that's the problem. We're all working our butts off so they can make more money, when even in the equation where we didn't work quite so much and we had a lot more, they would still be rich by any definition other than what they are now. So, how did I get into that again? Oh, deforestation. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So there you have it. That's enough for that rant. The rant that I deleted yesterday stemmed from my confusion and disillusionment with both sides of the debate regarding immigration reform. And I'll try not to get into that, but I started talking about it because I wanted to talk about a project I'm going to start. And yes, I have way too many projects to do, and that's just the way it is. But this one will be hard, but I think it could do good things. And I don't feel like there's any threat of it being stolen from me by talking about it. You know, if I were to talk about my games, then there are unscrupulous people out there who would take it and run. You know, people who have better resources than I do, like Zynga or EA. I don't know if EA steals, but I know Zynga does. You know, they have tons of money. They have tons of people working for them. They can take an idea and run with it. It doesn't have to even be their idea. So I'm not going to talk about my games in depth in these videos for that reason. But this is a project I can talk about because it doesn't matter if someone steals it. In fact, if someone stole it and did it, all they'd be doing is saving me time. And, you know, I have all kinds of other projects, including games, that I'd like to be doing. So go ahead and steal this idea. And it is a law to English translator. See, that's probably not entirely true. Sorry, I'm just sort of randomly picking targets here. There we go. Boink. No doubt I shouldn't be wasting my axe on breaking leaves, but it's not that hard to make new ones. I'll have to tear those down at some point. Wow, this is clearing out all right. Let's see. Holy, look at that. So yes, a law to English translator is probably wrong because it might be a law to programming language translator instead. But the problem it's attempting to solve, ooh, look at all this stuff, is the fact that probably most everywhere in the world, but in particular in the United States right now, we have this huge problem where all kinds of terrible things are being put into law or are hidden inside giant bills. And they're usually packaged up in such a way as no one would dare vote against the main premise of the bill, even if they know that there's a bad thing in it too. Or when they do vote against it in good conscience, they get reamed out by the press and stuff like that, and then they have a hard time getting reelected and things. And these giant omnibus bills are like this immigration one that's coming up now that is not good for immigrants or natives. You know, if you want to come up with good immigration reform, then I will listen to it because, you know, people are people everywhere, and it's my only concern about immigration to the United States is it happening too fast for us to keep up with. If our infrastructure fails because it's being overused, then we're over-immigrating, basically, is the point. And that's the entire complexity of my premise when it comes to immigration. Anyways, this package looks to triple it, when in fact we should probably only have half as much as we do now in order to have a breather and catch up and repair our nation and make room for all these new people and stuff like that. And instead they want to triple. So you're talking 6 to probably maybe 7 or even 8 times more immigration than we can handle. And, you know, when I was just talking about wages and how they've been going down and stuff like that, if you want to drop wages, then put more people in the labor market than there is work to do. And all of a sudden they'll have to compete against each other for jobs, when it should be the other way around, when it should be the employers who have to compete to attract labor to them, because labor is not, you know, it's not something they should take for granted. Anyways, this bill that's coming up is horrible, horrible, horrible. It takes advantage of the immigrants, undocumented at this point, and abuses them, makes them vulnerable to the very next wave of illegals who come in, having been lured by unscrupulous employers who are the real problem, not the immigrants. So as soon as they become citizens, they'll essentially lose their jobs, because the employers who didn't mind abusing them and threatening them with constant deportation to keep them from ever asking for a raise or complaining to the authorities or anything like that. They're just going to fire them and replace them with the next wave of hopefuls or people who've been lied to or brought here under difficult circumstances. So obviously the bill can't proceed. And when I was listening to people talk about the bill, everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. And even though they're arguing with each other, there was a session not too long ago between Schumer from New York and Sessions from I don't know where, probably South, but I don't know. And they're both full of crap on this topic. They both said a couple of things that were right, and then 80% of the things were wrong. They were dodging issues, both of them. It was horrible. And so what this made me want to do was make something that would probably have to start with the existing laws on the book and turn them either into plain English or a computer program that can be run. And then what you do is you feed circumstances like someone gets brought in after having been accused of a crime or something, and you feed his circumstances through the program that has been rendered according to the law, and it can in a few seconds know whether or not what he did was wrong or gray area or things like that. And then more importantly, or not more importantly, but pertinent to this situation, feed a new proposed bill that would change the law through and have it spit out not just what it actually would translate into English and what it would translate into in terms of changes for the country and or for people, but since these laws or these bills are full of junk designed specifically to keep you from understanding what's going on, in addition to them being 900, 1,500 pages long sometimes, so that no one would ever have the hope of reading through them before they're passed into law. This thing would be able to follow all the links, link all the concepts together, and figure out, oh, wait a minute, this block of language is too obscure to mean anything specific, and it can highlight it and bold it and make it obvious to anybody who wants to read it. This is suspicious. And then you can take it to your lawmaker and say, be more clear. What the heck is this about? And if they can't defend it, then you can force them, or at least pressure them into removing the deleterious language or the funky extras to the law. The idea is hopefully to expose every new proposed law to the light of day so that people know what it means and can prevent it or, encourage it or prevent it depending on its contents. And, if this works, whether or not, and this is why I don't mind if someone steals it, because if someone else does this, then we all win anyways. It doesn't matter if I do it or someone else does it, as long as it gets done. So, hey, if you want to steal the project, please. Otherwise, I will do it. And at least if I do it, I can know that I'm doing it with the right intentions. But if I make it open source, then it almost wouldn't matter, because anybody who tries to fiddle with the code to, turn it to the, evil, hello little chicken, would be found out by anybody else who's working on the project. So that's one of the nice things about open source. It's very hard for people to be dishonest when every other person out there can check their work. So, that's the idea. And I ended up getting to politics anyways, but not to the degree I did yesterday, so I think I can keep this episode. Haha. There. I'm still not entirely sure about the... Obviously, this is not going to... I don't like asymmetrical things, so this is definitely temporary. Because it's only in the corner. If it were going to be a corner piece, it'd have to jut off diagonally, and they'd have to be similar pieces on other sides. I've had a couple of ideas about what this will look like, or what it will be, but it's far from concrete. Here, let me have some tea. Berry tea of some sort. It smells good, but it tastes like water. Saplings are valuable. So yeah, there are a few things I have to figure out how to do in order to make such a project work. In particular, I'm not sure if machine learning is necessary. You know, a program that learns as you feed it stuff. I'm not sure if that's absolutely necessary. It might, in fact, actually be counterproductive to this project. All it needs to do is take the law, follow the bizarre twists and turns that they fit into the language, referencing each other. You know, subsection B of underclause X. You know, whatever. I'm misquoting, but they do this a lot, and it makes it extremely hard to read the law. Even if you're experienced at reading the law, this is not going to be easy stuff. But it's exactly how computer programs work, or machine language anyways. They follow pointers and links and containers of, you know, arrays, and basically the law can be translated very easily into data structures, which computers are pretty good at. So it makes sense. And you know, it's not going to be asserting any kind of control over people. It's not like Skynet. It doesn't care about the law. It's just translating and interpreting and making it into something a human can read. And hopefully what it'll do, if it works and it can discourage people from trying to hide their business in these obscure law things, then maybe they'll stop doing it. Maybe they'll stop making these ginormous bills that are full of hard-to-read junk for the express purpose of hiding something they don't want the public to know about, or frankly, each other. And if that's the case, and they give up and they only start writing laws that actually need to be written, well, guess what? Those kind of laws typically can be done in something the length of a short essay. A page, 2 pages, 3 pages at the most. Not 900 or 1,500 pages. I think the term for this is line item bills, but I could be wrong. But it would be such a wonderful thing. Can you imagine being able to actually trust your government again? I mean, I skew Democratic. I like government. That doesn't mean I like this government. I just like the idea of government in general, because what it is people getting together to solve a problem that is larger than they are, or getting together to solve or to negotiate with each other. Like, wow, you know, there's not enough water coming into, you know, the canyon from this side, so the valley over here is really hard to grow, but that guy over there, he has an excess of water because of this. Could I negotiate to siphon off a little of that water? And so, you know, obviously it requires you know, the ability to come to some kind of agreement, and a lot of times it can just be the two people who agree, but sometimes it's not that simple, and so they need an arbiter, someone to step in the middle and sort of play referee, help them reach a good-natured conclusion, sort of thing. But you know, that's a small example. But when you're trying to put, I don't know. Basically, government and politics is people negotiating with each other. It's not something people should be afraid of or dislike. It's a chore. It needs to be done. The sooner and more often you do it, the easier it is to do. The less offensive it is. All that stuff. So, if I can do anything to bring our government back into line, why shouldn't I do it? I know the people who like to take advantage of the system by hiding their junk in bills. That sounded bad, but whatever. They won't like it. So if they got wind of it, they'd probably try to stop me in some way. Now, it might actually prove to be a really difficult thing to do. But I'm familiar enough with software development and computer language in general. I'm by no means a master. There are people who whiz right by me. And again, if you want to steal my work on this one, please do so. But it is within my ability to figure out how to do, or at least figure out how it should be done if it's beyond the means of one person. And then, you know, it will evolve from there. Somebody else might come along and do it better, and that's good. kind of the point of things like open source and free software. You know, there's no money. Frankly, a situation like this, it's a standalone. It could be a standalone program. It doesn't have to have a web server or anything like that. So it really could be completely free. But that's my newest idea among many, and I feel like it's a necessary thing. So actually, I have two screens here. You guys can't see the other one. I am starting to poke around on the other screen with a part of it, a part of the idea. Well, actually, no, just a framework that might help make it work. It should be internet enabled. Come to think of it, you know, just allow me to talk out loud, brainstorm out loud here. Because there is a thing out there called thomas.gov, and I'm not sure if it's just laws that are already on the book, but it's basically caffeine has joined the game. Well, what? It's basically the legal language, and so I'm not sure if it's proposed bills or existing bills or both. But since it is on the internet, then this program ought to at least have internet access so it can read from it. I wonder if there's a monsters. Hey, let's turn monsters on. I actually had Minecraft-style dreams last night as well, though caffeine is here. Recording, but almost done. How do you like my deforestation? Trees will be back. Be back, that is. It's coming along. It's a big project, actually. Are you checking your map too? Blink, blink. Is it in a tree? I see a thing from yeah, I do. So yeah, that's my project plan. I'll poke at it some this afternoon, and it will be good. Yep. Seize it. Okay. You know what, guys? I will call this an episode. Hello, chicken. I'll find something more interesting to rant about next time. So, like my video, subscribe to my channel, make all your friends do the same, make people you don't know do the same, and then enjoy a good 1950s sci-fi movie while you're at it. Alright, good night.